Hello there and welcome, it's Ruth here at artfulstampin.co.uk. Welcome to my video today, and today we're going to be making this really pretty card. Excuse the smudge there, I don't know how I got that on there. It's just one of those things that happens. So I'm using a pink card base, which is cut from a half an A4 sheet of cardstock, and then just a piece of very vanilla that's going to be the matting layer on top. So we're going to be doing the work on this and then sticking it onto there in a second. So the stamp set that we're using today is the So Eclectic one, and using some of the Eclectic Layers Thinlits dies, and I want to show you a really nifty trick for creating a stencil. So here is one of a little piece of our window sheets that we sell, and I use this really fabulous background die, because when you put this through the Big Shot, this is the shapes that it cuts out, and it makes a really handy then stencil for creating textures in the background to your card. The colours I'm using today are mint macaron and, oops, I've got the wrong one out, not full party, I want the Wood Bay. Here it is. Obviously you can choose whatever colours you fancy, but I like the idea of having two that kind of tone and into each other, kind of blend into each other nicely. So I've got my sponge here. I'm going to just dab it gently into the colour, hold my stencil firmly, and then just apply the colour to the areas that I want it to go. So to continually to hold it firm as you swipe the colour on, because you don't really want it to move midway. Okay, so hey presto, look at that. It's a lovely, easy way of creating a background on a card. So I'm not using too many of the stamps, only a couple of them. It's a really fabulous set, and I'm looking forward to playing with this a little bit more and using more of the different stamps. But for this card, all I need to do is pop the leaf there, and then I'm going to do some stamping off. So I'm just going to stamp again so I get an extra layer there. If you wanted to add extra leaves, you can do so. And then I've got Blushing Bride here, ready to do some of the background little textures. So this is like some little crosses, a background type stamp, and it's just great for just popping some extra bits of detail into the background there. And as you can see, I'm kind of stamping off as well. There we go. Each time I make the card it's different, so it's quite fun to just play around with all the different textures. So here I've already pre-cut from Blushing Bride the flower and the stem and flower. Now a word on these dies. You have to use, if you want to cut out a flower so that you can use it individually, you need to use the two dies to cut it out with, because if you just use this one it would cut just the holes in the cardstock rather than the border to create the flower as well. So when you cut it out, you just have to line it up. Now a good tip is to put a mark on it at that point there, so that you know it's kind of easier to then line it up. So that's exactly the same with this one as well. You just get that one and that one, you pop inside it before you run it through your Big Shot. So let's start assembling. Actually, before I assemble, I just want to brush a little bit of ink onto the edges of this mint macaron leaf that I cut out, and I'm just using the mint macaron sponge just to put an extra bit of dimension on there. Then using a large dimensional, I'm just going to pop that right in the centre of the flower and stick that on there. And then when it comes to sticking these leaves on, I suggest that you use little portions or little tiny pieces and just stick them onto the leaf area. So that the dimensional is hidden then behind the leaf. So Probably only need a couple there. And then to stick this one down, I suggest you only need a little bit of dimensional in that area there. And I see that's already too big, so I'm just going to trim it down. And pop that on the back there. Take that off. And then just pop that in there like that. So this centre, I want to cover up the evidence of the dimensional. So I've pre-cut using my 3/4 circle punch and the 3/8 circle punch some little circles out of the dazzling So Stampin' Up have reconfigured their glimmer paper, and what used to be called the kind of dazzling diamonds one is now called sparkle. So this is great for just covering up that bit of dimensional there. So just add a little bit of Tombow and pop that over the top to keep that secure. And then I've cut about 6 of these little dots, which are just going to act as little kind of bits of interest in the background of the card. And it's a very inexpensive way of creating a touch of luxury, and you're only using the tiniest amount of glimmer paper, but it's just so pretty having these little dots in the background. So, have I got space for one more? Or maybe about there. There you have it. So then it's fun to put a gem in the centre. So I'm going to grab one of these big ones. And just for extra security, I like to get a glue dot. Because the glimmer paper is quite textured, it's worth just popping an extra glue dot on the back of your gem to make sure it's really super secure. And give it a really, really, really good press down. So all that's left for me to do is to stamp the sentiment, and I think this time I'm going to go for Coastal Cabana. And I've got the "You're Just Lovely" sentiment there. Make sure I've got it the right way up. I'm just going to pop that in the corner. And then stick it all together. This would be the sort of design that would be really easy to make multiples of. You could just have a kind of bit of a production line going on where you do all the stenciling first, then all the cutting out, all the sticking, and then all the kind of assembling. So thank you for joining me today, and if you would like to buy this stamp set, please head to artfulstampin.co.uk. The links actually to all the products used are going to be in the description box below. Don't forget to subscribe if you like what you see, if you don't already, and remember to hit that bell button to get notifications of when I next release a video. So thanks and take care. Bye.